This video will teach you how to replace a rear window lift motor on an 03 to 08 Honda Pilot. Step 1, utilizing a flathead screwdriver, pry up on the trim panel that houses the window control button. Disconnect the electrical connection. Remove this small black trim panel behind the door handle. Behind the door handle, remove these two Phillips head screws. Now to the right of the electrical connection, remove the silver tipped Phillips head screw. And we're also going to have another Phillips head screw hidden beneath the door grab handle. Go ahead and remove that. Now that we have all our clips and fasteners removed, we should be able to remove the door panel. So start at the bottom. Might hear a few pops. You're going to lift up on this panel slightly. Now as for this handle, you're going to have to rotate this or rotate the door panel and work the handle out of the door panel. Now we can take this, move it off to the side. So after you remove the door trim panel, you're going to have this white moisture barrier kind of sealed to the outer edges of the door. You are going to have to remove this in order to replace the window lift motor. And then it's optional if you want to replace this after the fact, but it does need to be removed in order for us to access the motor. The window's been lowered down a little bit more than halfway, and if we take a look at these access holes, we can now see the two 10mm bolts that attach the lift motor onto the glass. So let's go ahead and remove these two 10mm fasteners. Now from here, you're going to want to lift the glass back up and then duct tape it into place so it doesn't fall down. Next, we need to disconnect the wiring to the window lift motor. So the wiring that goes to the window lift motor is going to have a brown jacket to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is unplug this electrical connection. Then utilizing a body clip removal tool, I'm just going to pop this wiring harness out of the door. And I'm also going to feed this harness into the door. On the bottom of the door panel, you're going to find two silver 10mm fasteners right on either side of this raised metal ridge. Go ahead and remove these two fasteners. Following that ridge up the door panel, you're going to find another silver 10mm fastener. Go ahead and remove that. And to the right of that silver fastener, you're going to find a gold fastener. Loosen this one up, but do not remove it. Now, if you look right above your speaker, you're going to see the motor sticking out through this little opening in the panel. There's going to be two gold fasteners, 10mm fasteners, so we're going to loosen these up. Then there's going to be a silver fastener. Silver fastener, go ahead and remove that all the way. And the two golds, again, just crack them loose. And now you should be able to slide the motor up and through the openings. Then the final fastener, this other gold fastener that we cracked loose a moment ago, go ahead and reach behind the door, lift up on this bracket, and then you're going to have to shimmy this towards the big opening on the right side of the door. And there is a little white clip behind this door latch handle, and it looks like we're going to have to pinch and pop through. Now we should be able to take everything out. So here's the new window lift motor assembly, and here's the old one. And you can see with the old one, we had some type of major failure. Not exactly sure what happened here. But no matter, what we need to do now is the gold 10mm bolts that are still attached to the old unit, we're going to go ahead and transfer them over to the new unit. Again, just starting them in there. That way when we go to insert this in the door, then we could just have this slide right in the channels for the bolts. Also on the old assembly, on the gray cable section, you're going to find a plastic clip, so that plastic clip needs to be removed and transferred onto the new assembly. This is the retention clip for the wiring harness that was on the inside of the door. Now this is a zip tie style connector. I'm gonna see if I could cut this off and put it onto the new unit by just removing the zip tie that's in there and then reinstalling a zip tie. So here's the connector in question. As you can see, I cut off a piece of the zip tie that was holding it onto the harness. So here's the new harness, and this is gray for some reason, but I'm just gonna try taking a zip tie, sliding it down here, and just using the zip tie's own locking mechanism to kind of secure it to the harness. And I think this is going to work out just fine. And I believe it was right in the center. So that worked out just fine. Now that's going to be securing out of the way, and now we can get to installing the new harness in the door panel. Alright, so now that we have all the hardware transferred to the new assembly in the correct hole location, what we're going to do, we're going to kind of collapse this unit and fish it through the side opening in the panel. Now I'm going to start by aligning the bolts for the motor, so they just pop in and slide down. Alright, so after you get the bolt holes aligned for the lift motor, you're going to be looking for that other gold 10mm fastener for the lift assembly. That should pop through. And simply slide that back down. Now that we have the assembly lined up, now we can go ahead and start reinstalling all of our fasteners. Now go ahead and tighten all those fasteners. So when we were transferring everything over to the new assembly, on that gray cable, we transferred over that white plastic clip. So now what you're going to do, reach behind the panel, feel for that plastic clip, and just ensure that that pops through your door panel. And then also, where this white grommet is, you're going to go ahead and fish your wiring harness through this grommet. There's that other clip that we transferred over, so now we can go ahead and plug this into the door. So there's also an orange looking clip that is attached to the lift motor electrical connection. In order to remove that off the old connection, you're just going to have to use some brute force and slide it off. Then we'll transfer that onto the new motor connector. Hear how that clip popped into place, and now that's going to get installed into the rectangular opening in the door panel. So now we need to temporarily reconnect the window control switch. So now go in the car, turn the key to the on position, but don't start the car, and then what you can do, take your window control lever, and you're going to lift up on this lever to lift up the metal panel that holds the glass, and you're going to lift that up until the oval holes in that panel line up with our two access holes in the door panel. Now very carefully remove the duct tape and slowly lower the window glass back down. If you let this drop, you could crack the window panel. Don't want that. Now lower the window down until the threaded opening aligns with the oval holes. And reinstall the long 10mm fasteners. Then it's a good idea to tighten up these 10mm fasteners with a socket as opposed to an impact. Turn the car's ignition to the on position and then go ahead and test out your new window lift motor assembly. Alright, everything's working properly as it should, so now we need to re-disconnect this window control switch, put that off to the side, and now we are ready to reinstall the door panel. Now the first thing you need to work on is installing the door handle through the door panel, so you may have to turn the door panel kind of sideways. So for the door pop lock, you may have to reach your hand behind the panel to ensure that it comes up through the opening there, and then as for installing the door handle, it helps to turn the panel on a 90-degree angle, pop this through the door panel, and then lower the door panel. But the door panel should lock into the upper channel right here. Also ensure that you have the electrical harness popping out of this opening in the door panel for the control lever. And once everything's in place, you should be able to start popping this back in. All right, that's all popped back in. Now we can start reinstalling the fasteners. Phillips head underneath the door handle. Second silver Phillips beneath the door opening handle. 2 black Phillips head screws behind the door opening handle. Now reinstall the black trim piece behind the door handle. And finally reinstall the cup holder panel. And that's it. Let's give this one final test here. Window goes up all the way. Window goes down all the way, and that is how you repair a window lift motor assembly on an 03 to an 08 Honda Pilot. Thanks for watching.